With a minute 25, first period. Mickna in the corner. Drives around Dowell, now feeds it back out to Steve Klein. Klein right side to the open Mickna, doesn't shoot over Dowell. Tries to drive, back to Hodges. This is Klein. Looking inside, has Hardesty breaking, shot is missed. Blocking foul called inside. It's on 4-3, that's Trevor Rowe. For Trevor, his second, third as a team on Pekin. And it looks like they're going to call that a shooting foul. And to the line, shooting a pair will be Kevin Hardesty. Bob Shade has checked into the Dragon lineup. Trevor Rowe has sat down. Shade, 6'4" sophomore, started last night for Pekin in the place of Scott Beque. Scott better watch it there. He's creeping just a little close. First one is good. I would guess they'll probably try to move him out of there. 13-6, Hardesty the free throw. He has 3, looking for his 4th. Does not get it, Pekin rebounds. 13-6, 7-point Washington lead. Just under a minute, 57 seconds remaining in this first period. Taphorn in the corner. Tries to feed Shade off a finger and out of bounds. Kevin Jackson, so like it went off Jackson's fingertip. Jackson is into the lineup for the Washington Panthers. Out front, Beque. Inside, Taphorn in traffic, turnaround, forces a shot, gets it to go. Taphorn is an exceptional athlete. He got that one down. He has 6 of the 8 Pekin points, and it's 13-8. Panthers by 5. Teddy Moore also into the Washington lineup, so a couple of substitutions for both clubs. Teddy Moore gives right side, Hardesty. Back to Moore, who relieves Klein at point guard. Mickna, Hardesty. Back to Moore, right hash mark. He's working on Beque. Scott has played the whole first quarter after not expecting to start tonight. Hardesty in the corner left. Looking for Moore, finds Jackson in the corner. Kevin Jackson, back to Moore. At 6, offensive foul, Teddy Moore. He runs over Beque right in front of the Pekin bench. Moore gets the foul, his first, second as a team on Washington. And with 5 ticks of the clock remaining first quarter, Pekin has a chance. Beque has the pass almost stolen by Moore. Half-court shot by Beque is off the side of the rim, and there is still 1 second remaining. So they had a little more time than they suspected. Hugh Friday, the other end of the court, is saying, get back. 13-8. Panthers leading by 5. And Greg Herman, with 1 second to go in the quarter, is checking into the Washington lineup. And Hardesty, whether Jackson will sit down. Gasperry, length of the court pass. Quarter ends here at the Panther Den. We're through 1 quarter of play here at Washington with the score, Washington 13 and Pekin 8. The second quarter here in Washington, the Panther Den. 13-8, the Panthers lead by 5. Troy Dowell and Tim Mickna will jump for the second quarter. 13-8, Panthers by 5. Balanced scoring in that first quarter. Gasperry and Hodges both had 4. Hardesty had 3. Controlled, the tip is, by Bob Shade of Pekin. Back to Beque. On the other hand, Pekin had 6 points from Matt Taphorn of their 8. This is Dowell, right side. Mickna falls, Dowell shoots too hard. There's Campbell with the board. Air ball, Shade scores. Shade has 2, the lead is down to 3, 13-10. It was as high as 8 earlier. It's 13-10 now, 7:30 remaining, second quarter. Herman on the sideline almost lost the ball. Back to Klein, who was back in for more. Pekin still in their man. Gasperry in the corner. Back to Klein. And they want to set it back up. Now you see Herman and Gasperry going to the right side. Hodges has the ball now. He has Dowell on him. Now Klein. Beque guarding him out front. Hodges open in the lane. Made the shot, but before that, John Doolin calls a travel. Turnover gives the ball back to Pekin. Can get within a point with a goal. It's 13-10 now. Washington by 3. Panthers have never trailed in this one. Opened up a 6-point lead early. Led 8-2, led 10-2 early. Now 13-10. Bob Shade is open. Didn't shoot it from out front. McHugh was open. The crowd wanted the shot. Campbell will shoot it. Inside, in and out. And there's Mickna to rebound. One-handed pass up to Herman. To the breaking Herman. Good. Greg Herman the goal, and it's 15-10 Washington by 5. 6:30 remaining first half. Taphorn in the lane, good. One-man show in there that time. The goal is by Taphorn. He has 8 of the 12. It's 15-12, Washington leading. That's Klein dribbling left. Steve Klein. Mickna out front. Around Dowell and a foul on Dowell. Dowell was blocking. He'll get the foul. And for Troy, that's his first, 4th as a team for Pekin. And the Panthers have the ball out on the side court, right in front of their partisan Panther crowd. In the corner, that looks like Hardesty. 15-12, Panthers are now in the bonus the remainder of this half. Hardesty. Looking inside, he's kind of tied up. Lob cross court to Klein. Tries to get it inside to Mickna, stolen by McHugh. Whistle, foul on Steve Klein. And the Pekin crowd likes that. Klein gets the foul, his first, only the 3rd as a team on Washington. And with 5:45 remaining in the first half, the Panthers still hanging on to a 15-12 lead. It is very hard to beat a team 3 times. This is the 3rd meeting between these two clubs, and Pekin has won them both. Possibility exists they could meet a 4th time, as this is the site of the '84 regional. Ball tipped in on a leg inside, kicked, and Pekin will have the ball out of bounds. Pekin is seated 1st, Washington seated 2nd in the regional. He played here. These two teams could meet in the championship game. In the corner, Shade inside, Taphorn rises above it and shoots. Misses, and Mickna rebound. Mickna to Klein. Looking to go up by 5 again. Hardesty will shoot. Knuckleball, good. Hardesty gets the basket. He has 5, and it's 17-12, a 5-point Washington lead. Campbell off the Pekin bench will be coming back in probably for Shade. Shade has the ball now Dowell. Rowe in the corner, now McHugh. To the side, now back to Rowe in the deep corner. Has Shade underneath. Him and Herman were going at it. Offensive foul inside, Trevor Rowe. For Trevor, his 3rd. Taphorn fed him the ball. Rowe got the offensive foul. His 3rd, 5th as a team for Pekin. And Trevor is in trouble. He has 3, the only man for either club in foul trouble. But he is still out there. Campbell checked back in. Bob Shade sat down. And Hugh Friday may be thinking of sending Bob Shade right back into the lineup in place of Trevor Rowe. 4:47 remaining in the half. Panthers have the ball up by 5, 17-12. And full court pressure put on by Pekin. Panthers clear it. Here's Shade. He'll be checking back in probably for Rowe. On the wing, Klein. Around McHugh. Foul McHugh, a block. McHugh couldn't quite get there. And the block is called on Scott for McHugh, his 2nd. And to the line to shoot a 1 and bonus will be Steve Klein. Has not scored as of yet tonight, has 1 foul, and plays an excellent point guard. Klein is a 5'9" senior. The left-hander will shoot a 1 and bonus. He could extend the lead. Too hard. Mickna rebounds in the lane. No good. Too hard. Off Dowell. Panther ball inside. Everything going Washington's way thus far. We're almost halfway through this 2nd frame. Hardesty will trigger. Out of bounds. Should be Panther ball it is. Off Campbell. Trying to get the ball into Klein. So right in the dead right corner is John Doolin, the official, and Hardesty. Hardesty gets it in. Mickna. Back to Hardesty in the corner. This is Hardesty. Inside, fakes once, loses the ball. Taphorn has it. Good balance on the baseline by Matt. And here comes Taphorn right side. Hardesty falls, Taphorn shoots, no good. And there's the big man, Matt Hodges, in the middle to grab the rebound. Amidst about 6 bodies, Hodges grabbed it. Pass up court, we're gonna have a foul on Taphorn for running over Hardesty. You saw the pass, it was a balloon by Hodges up front. Hardesty jumped for it, Taphorn jumped for it, one man went down, that was Hardesty, and John Doolin calls the foul on Matt Taphorn. And listen to this crowd. Inside, Gasberry falls, pass lobbed up, Shea tries to grab it, Klein has it. Off Campbell's leg, and Taphorn steals. Top of the key, Taphorn shuffles it, Dowell inside, good. Troy Dowell, his first points of the game at 17-14, and we're going to have a timeout. Timeout with 3:39 remaining in the first half with the score. Washington 17 and Pekin 14. Got a frenzied crowd here, the Pekin crowd in front of us, the Panther crowd across from us. Good ball game going on, 3:39 remaining in the half, 17-14, Panthers by 3 with the ball. Klein working against Pekin. Right side, Gasberry. Check that, Hodges. This is Hardesty. Here's Gasberry to the breaking Hodges, stolen by Taphorn. Campbell up front, good defensive work from behind by Klein, breaks that up and out of bounds, Pekin ball. Panthers really playing inspired ball tonight, although the turnovers the last couple times down have hurt them. A little sloppy play as of late. Klein steals. Gasberry picked up the ball. Little sloppy play by both clubs at this time. 3:10 remaining first half. Inside, Mickna's turnaround, blocked by Shade. Pekin has the ball for Pekin. 2-on-1 to Shade, he scores. Shade got the goal. Shade gets the goal. And it's 17-16, 2:50 remaining, first half. Panthers inside, Gasberry with the ball. Partially blocked, Pekin has it. We have a foul in the backcourt. It looks to be on Campbell. Yes, it is. Campbell 1-1, the offensive foul. Will give the ball back to Washington. Campbell's first. Panthers inbound the ball. That's Gasberry. This is Hardesty. Back out top. Gasberry. In the corner, Mickna. He's tied up. Mickna with the ball. And it's out of bounds. Will go to Washington. And the crowd reacts with every whistle and every movement of all the players. Gasberry will trigger that same right-handed corner of the Panther end. 2:19 remaining in the half. It's a 1-point game, 17-16. Washington leads by 1. Gasberry in the corner. Has Taphorn on him. Klein, Hodges. Had Mickna open top of the key, gives off to Hardesty. Now to Klein. Mickna's open, will shoot. Scores. Mickna has 4 in the game. It's 19-16. Panthers by 3. Campbell open on the side. Inside Dowell. Dowell tied up. Back out to Taphorn. Matt in the lane. This is Shade. Bob Shade scores. Shade has 6 points. It's 19-18. 1:35 in the half. 19-18. Panthers lead by 1. Have not trailed in the game. Mickna. This is Gasberry in the corner. Tied up. Back out to Klein. Hardesty with the ball, 1:16 and counting. Klein between the circles. Wants to clear out, he clears Mickna out, gives the ball to Hardesty. This is Klein, looks to coach Steve Doty for some instructions. We're at 1 minute and a quarter. Mickna has Klein breaking through, gives to Hodges. Both teams have played a man-to-man the entire game. Klein with the ball, McHugh on him, 48 seconds in the half. Really been the kind of game that everybody expected, very close. Both teams are leading their respective conferences. Panthers leading the mid-Illini undefeated at 6-0. Dragons leading the Mid-State 8 at 7-0. They've met twice. Panthers have lost both times. 19-18, Panthers by 1, 20 seconds. Mickna having some trouble. Off to Klein at 17. Gasperry. There's the Panther crowd on their feet at 8, 7, 6. Inside, Mickna's turnaround with 5, goes down. 3, 2, 1. We're at halftime. The goal by Mickna here at halftime gives the Panthers a 21-18 lead here at the half from the Panther Den in Washington.
Well, halftime is completed here at the Washington Panther Den. Our halftime score, Washington 21 and Pekin 18. And I'm Charlie Early from WTAZ Radio in Morton. We'll be bringing you the second half action between Washington and Pekin. It's been a good first half of action. We'll take a look at individual scoring when we have the opportunity to do so. And our second half tap controlled by the Washington Panthers. This will be Steve Klein to bring it up. No zone tonight in this ball game. It's been all man-to-man. That's Hardesty in the paint to the goal. There's Hardesty with a shot up and in. He has 7. And it's 23-18, a 5-point Washington lead over Pekin. But here come the Dragons. Number 1 ranked in the state according to one poll. Number 2 in another. There's Campbell from long range. That's his first bucket of the evening. 23-20 make it. It's Washington over Pekin by 3 here as we start the third quarter of action. Hodges out on top. There's Hardesty. We'll chart the players out there when we have the opportunity to do so. But both teams played man-to-man all first half, and looks like they'll come out and do the same here in the second half. Klein, Hodges, Hardesty, who has the ball, goes inside. There's the offensive foul for Hardesty. That's his first, and it'll be first as a team for Washington. Out there for the Panthers, Klein, Gasperry out on top. The baseline consisting of Mickna, Hodges, and Hardesty. For Pekin, backcourt tandem, Taphorn and McHugh, and Troy Dowell, Trevor Rowe, and John Campbell on the front line. There's a loose ball picked up by Rowe. He breaks free, will shoot it in. Rowe with 4, now it's a 1-point lead for Washington over Pekin. 23-22, we have 6:46 to go in the third quarter of action. It's John Gasperry on the attack. Mickna for Washington, guarded by Taphorn. That's a real good matchup, one of the best in the game tonight thus far. It's Klein breaking free, had the jumper, didn't take it. We'll send it out on top, and the Panthers will set it up. There's Matt Hodges in the lane, faking and scoring. 6 points for Matt, 25-22. The lead 3 now for Washington over Pekin. Into the first quarter, it was Washington 13-8 over Pekin. Halftime, it was 21-18. It's 25-22 now. Washington, there's the back door, it's open. McHugh has the shot, a nice move up and in by the little guard. McHugh wasn't supposed to start tonight because he had chicken pox this week, but he did start this evening. That was his first bucket. 25-24, Washington clings to a 1-point lead. 5:53 to go here in this third quarter of action. That's Mickna on a high post guarded by Troy Dowell, another good matchup. And we have a foul down low on Matt Taphorn for the Pekin Dragons. For Matt, that's number 2 on him, first as a team. And we'll have Washington taking possession in front of their own bench. Pekin comes into this ball game, came into this ball game 17-0 and 8-0 in the Mid-State 8. Washington with it. That's Hodges deep right corner, maneuvering on the baseline, but he is shut off. It's Klein double teamed. Now Hodges, there's the back door, and that's Gasperry up and in. 6 points for John, 27-24. The lead is 3 now for Washington over Pekin, 5.5 and counting in the third quarter of action. Campbell and the Dragons with the basketball. Rowe, McHugh, long range, rimmed it out, no good. There's Hodges high for the Washington rebound. He'll fire an outlet pass and get the break going, but the Panthers slow it up. Steve Klein for Washington. By the way, the Panthers come into this ball game 13-6, and they're on top of the mid-Illini 6-0. Mickna shut off on the baseline. Will have to feed it out on top. Washington will have to set up. 5:52 and counting, 27-24. This third quarter lead belongs to Washington. They've led all ball game long. There's Mickna, left side for Washington. Works it to Hodges. A lot of activity down under the bucket. There's Hodges being fouled by Taphorn. And for Matt Taphorn, that's foul number 3, second as the team for Pekin. And I imagine we may have somebody come off the Pekin bench. Of course, the Dragons, coached by Hugh Friday, an understudy of Dottie Hawkins in the 60s at Pekin High School, played for Dottie in the big glory years. There's Klein, and the southpaw puts it up and in. About a 17-footer. That's Klein's first bucket. 29-24, the lead 5 now for Washington over Pekin. Dragons with it. They're in their red away uniforms, trimmed in white. Washington in their white, trimmed in orange and black. There's Taphorn. He's a smooth operator. A nice shot. It almost went down, and Gasperry got the foul. For John, that's first on him, second as a team. Taphorn, who will be going to Illinois State next year, has already committed to go there. And he is a smooth operator out there for the Dragons. He can play a forward or center even. He can go down low, but they've been using him as the shooting guard, doing an excellent job. He'll be going to the line, shooting a pair. First one is up. It's short. Taphorn with 8 points in the ball game on 4 field goals. As we said, Hugh Friday, an understudy of Dottie Hawkins in the 60s at Pekin. And Hugh coached at Chillicothe IVC, took one of his teams to Super Sectional in 1980, I believe. Now he's back home in Pekin coaching the Dragons. Taphorn made the second one, as you just saw, 9 points for Taphorn. Washington back down on the offense. There's Hodges, has stripped to the ball, but a foul on Troy Dowell. For Troy, that'll be number 2 on him, third as a team. Sophomore game tonight went to Washington in a squeaker, 45-44 over the Pekin Dragons. We have 3:59, just under 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter of action. 29-25. It's Washington leading Pekin. Ball tipped out on the far side by Campbell as the Panthers tried to trigger the inbounds. A capacity here at the Panther Den, 2,900 the seating capacity, and I imagine they're pretty close to that. And I know both schools have to be proud of the fans over here, especially Pekin in this ball game. They had all of their ticket allotment signed up. There's a shot by Hodges in the paint, won't go, and Trevor Rowe is there for the Pekin rebound. Here come the Dragons. That's McHugh. Rowe to Taphorn, lost the dribble. Troy Dowell powers inside, it won't go, and there's the rebound tipped up in the air, brought out by Hodges. He feeds it out to Hardesty, and we have a foul going to be whistled as Hardesty and Campbell collide at midcourt, and they'll call it. Oh, I think, what are they going to call? No, they'll call a foul on Campbell. I started to say somebody had to foul there. That's Campbell's second. That's fourth as a team for Pekin. Washington will inbound it just in front of their bench. Steve Doty, the head basketball coach for the Washington Panthers, down on the floor, as you can see, directing some traffic during the timeout. According to the new IHSA rules, that's about the only time you can confer with your players and stand up, is during times when play is not in progress. Washington with it. They lead 29-25 over Pekin. We have 3:24 to go in the third. Panthers with it. That's Gasperry. Klein with it. Looks to the back door, and the bad pass. And the Panthers throw it away. Here's McHugh up to Taphorn. His shot is good. Taphorn with 11 on the miscue by the Panthers. It's 29-27. The lead is now 2 for Washington over Pekin. 3 minutes and counting in the third quarter of action. Klein, the playmaker for Washington, hounded by McHugh, and it's stolen by McHugh. It's off to Troy Dowell. McHugh, layup, he missed it. Here comes Mickna with the good rebound for the Panthers. Made sure that nobody was around him. McHugh missed the layup that time as he picked the ball cleanly away and got a good pass from Troy Dowell. Washington with it, and still a deuce lead with 2:33 and counting in the third. There's Matt Hodges. Washington spreading it out, going maybe for a high percentage shot, trying to break that back door open or get the weak side lob. That's Klein. Both teams in a man-to-man, no zone tonight, as we have mentioned. There's an errant pass. They said one of the Dragons touched it. It goes out of bounds. Back to Washington. Ted Moore checks into the Washington lineup. Checking out is Klein. 2:14 to go in the third. 29-27. It's a 2-point Washington lead. Gasberry triggered it out on front to Ted Moore. Washington will back it out of there and probably try to wind some time off the clock. We're at 2 minutes and counting in the third quarter of action. It's the mid-illini versus the Mid-State 8 here tonight from the Panther Den. Mickna falls down. Stolen away by Taphorn. Dragons on the attack can tie. Right side Rowe. There's Campbell. Rowe jumper. Good. 6 for Rowe. We're tied at 29. 1:45 and counting in the third quarter of action. Steve Doty off the bench for Washington, trying to calm his team down a little bit. And we'll have a replacement coming into the Washington lineup for Mickna. Coming into the ball game will be Greg Herman. Checking out will be Mickna. Washington and Pekin now are tied at 29. Pekin has never led in the ball game. And we're tied at 29. 1:39 to go in the third quarter of action. Washington with it. That's Herman, guarded by Dowell. Out on top is Matt Hodges. Right side is Ted Moore. Moore and McHugh, the two shortest players on the court. That's Herman. Left side, Hardesty with 1:22 and counting in the third. We're tied at 29. Pekin and Washington here from the Panther Den. Charlie Early from WTAZ Radio with you. Herman breaks free, short. Dowell with a rebound in traffic for Pekin, off to McHugh. And the Dragons, for the first time tonight, can take the lead. Rowe, no. Rebound, right side. Greg Herman for Washington. Rowe had the shot, couldn't get it to go down. And the strong side board came down to Herman. Now Ted Moore with it. With 52 seconds to go in the third quarter of action, we're tied at 29. Moore with it to Herman. Herman holds it up, guarded by Taphorn. 45 to go in the third. Herman in trouble, off to Moore with 40. Moore for Washington. That's Hardesty with 35. Right side Herman, 30. Gasberry, Moore. 28 seconds to go in the third. Right side Hardesty with 25. We're tied at 29 in the closing half minute of the third quarter. Panthers work it around. There's Gasberry. Sees an open lane, but he backed it off wisely with 16. Out on top, Moore with 13. Moore with 10. Hodges in the lane. Dumps it off nicely to Hardesty. Up and in with 6. Hardesty got the bucket. There's McHugh. All the way down. Has time. It's no good. Into the third quarter is over. Our score after the end of 3 quarters of action, Washington 31 and Pekin 29. We'll keep it right here. Washington has led throughout the entire ball game. Pekin
actually does X-ray.
Get another one on the bench technical. 7 for Gasberry. And the next one is on the way. It's also good. Gasberry with 8. It's a 35-31 lead now for Washington over Pekin. A 4-point Panther lead. And more importantly, they get the basketball back. That's Hodges off to Ted Moore. Washington trying for the upset here this evening. That's Moore. Out on top is Hardesty. That's Herman breaking free. No good. Rejected nicely by Troy Dowell. A gutsy defensive move off to Taphorn. The Dragons are running. Taphorn to the baseline. Out on top. Trevor Rowe backs it out of there to set it up. There's Shade on the baseline. He's double teamed. Puts it up. No good. Rebound Troy Dowell out of his hands. And it'll go to Washington. It's off Troy Dowell's hands, out of bounds. They'll give it to the Panthers with 5:57 to go in the ball game. 35-31. The lead is 4 now for Washington over Pekin. And this is Ted Moore for the Washington Panthers. There's a timeline left side, hounded by McHugh. That's Greg Herman. Sees an open baseline. Will take it and rim it. No good. And Trevor Rowe for Pekin has the rebound. Give it off to Matt Taphorn. Taphorn with it now. All alone is Campbell. It's up and in. There's a 3-point opportunity. Foul on Greg Herman. That's what you don't need in a situation like this. That's Campbell's 4th point for Herman. That'll be his first foul. 4th as a team on Washington. And Campbell will have a chance for the three-point play. He got a 4-point lead. That'll give a coach a few gray hairs and force him to bring out the Grecian formula. Campbell at the line has 4. Looking for 5 in this free throw. It's 35-33. Washington by 2 over Pekin. 5:33 to go in the ball game. Campbell at the line, 6'3" senior for the Pekin Dragons. Up, on the way, good. The lead is 1 now for Washington over Pekin, 35-34. The backcourt pressure is on by the Dragons. That's Ted Moore. Now they back it off. Moore with it. Across the timeline, near side, John Gasperi gets ready to check into the Washington lineup. Hardesty, left wing. That's Klein. Moore. Have 3 guards, or actually 2 guards in the ball game, the 2 small guards. And they call 5 seconds against Washington as they didn't advance the ball. The costly turnover will come back down the other way with Pekin taking possession and a chance for Pekin to take their first lead of the ball game. Campbell, Bucue. Campbell, he's all alone. Rimming, no good. Taphorn, good. That's Pekin's first lead of the night. They lead 36-35. A timeout down on the floor. We'll keep it here. We have 4:56 to go in the ball game. Pekin 36, Washington 35. And that's the first lead of the ball game for Pekin. And you can't let these Dragons sneak back into the ball game. They trailed something like 20-4 in that meeting with Manuel here earlier in January. And I tell you, they came back to win that ball game in triple overtime on a shot at the buzzer. So these Dragons have fought back all game long, and you can see why they're #1 ranked by one poll, #2 by the other, because of their great ability to come back. It was Washington 13-8 at the end of 1. 21-18 Washington at halftime, 31-29 Washington at the end of 3, and now with 4:56 to go in the ball game, it's Pekin 36 and Washington 35. Leading scorers, Matt Taphorn for Pekin with 13, Kevin Hardesty 10 unofficially for the Washington Panthers. Sophomore game tonight went to Washington 45-44. We could have a similar type score in this ball game the way it's going here. Washington with a basketball, as you can see, half-court press put on by the, actually full-court press put on by the Pekin Dragons. Ball comes into Moore. There's a steal, though, by McHugh, and he's on his knees and fouled by Ted Moore. That's #2 on Ted. That should be the 5th as a team. We're shooting 1 in bonus. Scott McHugh stole the ball away. It was a bad pass on the inbounds. That's where Pekin will get you, that great defense. They've had great defensive ball clubs down through the years, and this year is no exception. McHugh shooting 1 in bonus. Big free throws coming. There's the first one. Good. McHugh with 5 points, all in the second half. That's been a key to Pekin's success here in the second half. Next one on the way. Good. 6 points for McHugh, and now it's 38-35. A 3-point lead for Pekin, but there's a bomb to Hardesty. Good. Hardesty with a dozen. Pekin leads by 1. Here come the Dragons. That was a Gasperi to Hardesty touchdown bomb right there. Ball tipped away near side by Hardesty. Bob Shade checks into the Pekin lineup. Checking out was Trevor Rowe. Klein checks back into the Washington lineup. Ted Moore will check out. Taphorn to trigger it for Pekin in front of his own bench. There's Troy Dowell on the baseline, guarded by Mikda. Campbell, Bucue, Shade, Taphorn. They work it around, look down low. Bucue, top of the key. Has the ball tipped away? No, he threw it away. Little misdirection play that time by the Dragons, and both players thought each other were going the opposite ways. There's Mikna getting help in the backcourt, or giving help in the backcourt, off to Klein. It's 38-37, Pekin by 1 over Washington, 4:18 to go in the ball game. Washington with a basketball. They work it around. Mickna. There's Gasberry. Yes. Gasberry has 10. The seesaw lead. Sees back to Washington, 39-38. Pekin back on the attack with 4 minutes to go in the ball game. Troy Dowell is fouled inside by Mickna. For Tim, that's number 1, 6th as a team. Dowell has been shut off tonight in the ball game. He only has a field goal for 2 points, and they've really sagged back on him and tried to keep him from scoring. 6'5" Troy Dowell, good rebounder. He's a junior, led the Mid-State 8 last year in rebounding, the first sophomore to ever do that. Free throw, no good. There's Gasberry for the rebound. That could be a costly miss. Washington with it. That's Klein directing traffic with 3:50 to go in the ball game. 39-38, Washington by 1. Washington with a basketball. Matt Hodges, 6'2", 225 senior out there, gives it off to Klein. Left side, Mickna. Hardesty. Pekin still in a man-to-man. That's Klein, hash mark left, guarded by BQ. Gasberry with 3:26 to go in the ball game. I don't know if the Panthers can hold it this long or not. That's a chore against a defense like Pekin to hold that ball for 3 minutes, try to wind the clock out or get fouled. Hardesty is guarded by Shade. It's Klein with 3:12 to go in the ball game. Washington 39, Pekin 38. Mickna. Klein. It's Gasberry. Mickna with 2:57 and counting in the ball game. Klein. They're trying to open up the back door until they can do that. Looks like they'll just hold the ball and try to chew time off the clock. That's Klein. Looks for the back door. It's shut right now. 2:41. Klein fouled by Shade. Bob Shade has, that's his first personal foul, 5th as a team. Now Washington will be shooting 1 in bonus, so both teams are in the bonus. We have 2:40 to go in the ball game. We've got a thriller brewing here from the Panther Den, 39-38. It's Washington leading Pekin by 1. Klein could make it more, perhaps. First one, no good. Rebound, Troy Dowell. You have to make those free throws in games like this. Pekin with it. That's Taphorn. Campbell, Shade. Guarded by Hodges to the paint. Inside Troy Dowell. Nice pass up and in. Troy Dowell with 4. It's 40-39. Pekin by 1 over Washington. 2:11 and counting down in the ball game. It's going to go down to the wire, folks. Pekin has defeated Washington twice this season, trying for the trifecta. And there's an offensive charge on Hardesty. Troy Dowell came in and sneaked in, did a good job. Right place at the right time. Hardesty didn't see him. He kind of blindsided him. That'll be Hardesty's second foul. We'll come back down the other way and have Pekin taken out on that offensive foul. Pekin leads by 1. They have the basketball. That could be trouble. BQ with it now. Double teamed, having trouble. Gets rid of it. One of the Panthers got their hands on it. That's Troy Dowell, and we have a foul up court away from action. Looks like they'll call it on Tim Mickna. Something happened away from action. That's Mickna's seconds. That'll send Pekin to the line. Guess they must have fouled BQ trying to get that ball away. BQ at the line for Pekin. BQ with 6, couple of field goals and 2 free throws. He's a good free throw shooter. First one, no good. Rebound tipped around. There's Mickna. And a foul on the rebound on Shade. So we'll come back down the other way and shoot some free throws. Shade has 2. And we'll have Washington shooting 1 in bonus. So I said BQ was a pretty good free throw shooter, and I plagued him at the line. Just kidding. Mickna at the line for Washington. Tim's a good free throw shooter too. Here's the situation. We're under 2 minutes and 1:53 to go in the ball game. It's 40-39. Pekin by 1 over Washington. Mickna trying to tie it or put the Panthers ahead. Up on the way. Good. We're tied at 40. Mickna with 7. Pekin defeated Washington in the championship game of the Washington Tip-Off Tournament. Then they defeated the Panthers in the semifinal round of the Pekin Holiday Tournament. Next one good. 8 points for Mickna. And it's a 1-point Washington lead, 41-40. Pekin with the basketball. That's Taphorn. Taphorn with it. That's Troy Dow with 140. There's a give and go inside Shade, a foul on Hodges. Matt Hodges picks up the foul. That's number 3 on him. Going to the line will be Bob Shade. He was the hero in that Pekin Manual game we've alluded to tonight, as he got a rebound offensive basket and put it up at the goal to beat Manual in triple overtime. He's shooting one in bonus. Big free throws here with 1:39 to go. First one, too hard. Rebound, Gasperry. That didn't come close. Washington has it now. It's Klein, Mickna, Hardesty with 1:26 to go. Hardesty hounded by Shade. And on top, that's Gasperry. Washington 41, Pekin 40. 1:19 to go in the ball game. Washington with a 1-point lead in the basketball, trying to open up the back door and eat time off the clock or get fouled, one or the other. It's Klein. Almost stolen by Beque, and a foul on Beque. Punt for the hold. Beque picks up foul number 3. Pekin fans don't agree with the call. We've got a very good crowd for this ball game, as you can hear in the background. Very vocal crowd, and I don't doubt if we have some action going on in the stands somewhere tonight between fans of both schools. But it's March Madness, fans. Whether we're ready for it or not, March Madness is here. Klein, big free throws. First one up, on the way. Good. 3 points for Klein, 42-40. The lead is a deuce for Washington over Pekin. 1:08 to go in the ball game. Not over yet. Till the buzzer or the gun goes off, it's not over yet. These Dragons can come back and snap at you. And I think Pekin wants timeout. Looks like Hugh Friday is signaling timeout, and we do. 1:08 to go in the ball game. We'll keep it here. It's 42-40. Washington leads by 2, and the Pekin Dragons call timeout. They have 1 more left in this ball game. Scoring in the ball game for Pekin. For Beque, he has 6. Taphorn 13. Troy Dow with 4. Trevor Rose 6. John Campbell 5. Bob Shade has 6. For Washington, Klein 3. Gasperry 2. Hodges 6. Mickna 8. Kevin Hardesty with 12. Greg Herman with 2. Into the first quarter, Washington led at 13-8. At halftime, Washington 21-18. Third quarter, 31-29. And with 1:08 to go in the ball game, Washington 42 and Pekin 40. Pekin came in 17-0 on the season, 8-0 in the Mid-State 8. Washington came in 13-6 on the season and 6-0 in the Mid-Illini. So no matter what your record is, where you are in the polls, or what have you, when you have county rivalries like this going at it before 3,000 people, something's going to happen. And you can throw records and polls and everything right out the window, because when these teams go at it, look out. Klein made the first. He's trying to extend the Panther lead to 3. Klein at the line. Eyes it, puts it up, rimming, no good. There's Campbell with a rebound. Pekin can tie with a bucket here. Beque, the playmaker, with 1 minute in the ball game to go. There's Beque. Taphorn. Looks like Pekin going to take it to the goal, and Taphorn does. He missed it. Hodges rebounds. Taphorn a foul. Will come back down the other way. 4 fouls on Taphorn. Hodges will be going to the line, shooting 1 in bonus for the Washington Panthers. Matt tonight has 6 points, hasn't scored in the fourth quarter as of this time, playing with 3 personal fouls. He got 2 in the first quarter and saw limited action. So he's got 6 points on the evening. Big free throws for him coming up. First one up, on the way. Good. 7 points for Hodges. 43-40, the lead is 3 now for Washington over Pekin. At the line, Hodges. Next one, good. 8 for Hodges, a 4-point Washington lead over Pekin. Dragons come quickly back with 48 seconds. Taphorn down the lane, dumps it off inside. Troy Dow, offensive foul. That's going to be a big turning point in this ball game. Dow committed the offensive foul. The Panther fans are going wild here. Washington trying for the upset of the #1 ranked team in the state, the Pekin Dragons. 43 seconds to go. And Washington will have the basketball. 43 seconds is a lot of time. Just can't count anybody out till the buzzer's over. Gasperi to inbound it. There's Hodges helping out. That's Klein. Back to Gasperi. With 37, Gasperi clears the timeline. They'll choke time off the clock. Gasperi is fouled by Taphorn. For Taphorn, that'll be foul number 5 on him. I have unofficially, and he'll go to the bench, fouling out in the ball game. Bob Shade will check into the lineup. So Taphorn fouls out with 32 seconds to go. Taphorn had another excellent night, 13 points, and Pekin wants their final timeout of the half. We'll take time out here. Well, we'll keep it here, actually. We have 32 seconds to go in the ball game. It's 44-40. Washington leads Pekin by 4. And don't be surprised if these two teams don't meet in the Washington Regional coming up March 5th, 7th, and 9th. Because this Washington Regional will be an excellent regional. You have Morton, Washington, Pekin, Metamora, East Peoria, and IVC. And Washington and Pekin are seeded. Pekin #1, Washington #2. So don't be surprised. These two teams may meet later on down the line in March Madness Regional action. But it's been a great ball game here this evening from the Panther Den. It's not over yet. 32 seconds to go. 44-40. Washington leads by 4 over Pekin. Crucial free throws coming up for Matt Hodges. Pekin can get down court and really sting you. So Washington trying to put a score in the paper tomorrow that will be seen all over the state and heard around the state as they're trying to knock off the #1 ranked Pekin Dragons here at the Panther Den tonight. Excuse me, John Gasperi will be at the line and not Hodges. Gasperi at the line for Washington. Has 10. First one up and on the way. Good. Might do it. A 5-point lead now. 45-40. Washington leads Pekin. Next opponent for the Washington Panthers, the Morton Potters here at the Panther Den. Well, that'll be a good game too. Next one, Gasperi up. Good. 12 points for Gasperi. 6-point Washington lead. 46-40. Dragons back. 30 seconds to go in the ball game. Shade bombing and missing. Gasperi strong side rebound will be fouled by Shade. And it's all a matter now of letting the clock wind down. Shade picks up the foul, 1 in bonus. Third personal foul on Shade. So it looks like Pekin will drop to 17-1 on the season. Washington will go with this victory to 14-6. However, both teams, since this is a conference game, won't affect their conference standings any. Get at the line, up and in. 13 for Gasperi, hitting crucial free throws. 47-40, the lead is 7 for Washington over Pekin. Gasperi made the first. Next one up on the way. Good! 14 for Gasperi, that should do it. 8-point Washington lead, 48-40. McHugh from long range, rimmed it, no good. There's John Gasperi with 17 seconds. That's Klein. McNaugh, good. McNaugh with 10 seconds to go. It's a 10-point Washington lead. Campbell, top of the key jumper, short. Rebound, McHugh with 3 up, no good. Rebound fought for. That's it. The Washington Panthers have defeated the Pekin Dragons by 10, 50-40. Washington 50-40 over the #1 ranked Pekin Dragons. Pekin goes to 17-1 on the season. Washington goes to 13-6. Washington remains 6-0 on top of the mid-illini, and Pekin remains 8-0 on top of the mid-state 8. Scoring tonight in the ball game for the Pekin Dragons. Scott McHugh, 6 points. Matt Taphorn, unofficially 13 points. He fouled out with 32 seconds to go in the ball game. Troy Dahl had 4, Trevor Rowe had 6, John Campbell 5, Bob Shade had 6 for the Pekin Dragons. For the Washington Panthers, Klein with 3, Gasperi 14 to lead all scorers in the ball game. Gasperi with 14, Matt Hodges 8, Tim Mickna 10, Kevin Hardesty 12, Greg Herman 2, and that rounds out the scoring for the Washington Panthers at the end of one quarter of action, 13-8 Washington. At halftime, 21-18 Washington. Third quarter, 31-29 Washington. In the fourth quarter, Pekin took their first lead of the ball game at 40-39, but Washington came back with some clutch free throws by Gasberry, who unofficially tonight was 6 of 6 from the line. Good free throw shooting by Washington. Hodges was 2 for 2 from the line. Mickna 2 of 2 from the line. And I bet the Panthers shot 90 or 95% from the charity stripe tonight. So that does it. The final score, the Washington Panthers 50 and the Pekin Dragons 40. Definitely upset. And Pekin will probably tumble from their number 1 and 2 ranked positions in the polls respectively. But it's 50-40. Washington wins it over Pekin by 10. And that's all we have for you tonight. I'm Charlie Early for Jim Kelch, courtesy of WTAZ Radio. Once again, the final score from the Panther Den tonight. Capacity crowd saw the action. Washington upset Pekin 50-40. Have a good evening, everybody.